What do we look for when testing new decks?
Do we participate in kingmaking?
Do we enjoy playing without Soul Ring?
Is Bonesaw a sword?
You'll find all the answers and probably a lot more in this episode of the Nitpicking Nerds.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. I said it before. I was supposed to say it. And if you want me to say it at the right time, Patreon.com is probably the best way to do it. If you go to Patreon and you donate directly, I will not say the Nitpicking Nerds before I'm supposed to in every video.
Yes, you will be supporting us directly. That is how you give us money so you can make this channel even better. We are constantly improving. Even if you think, man, the Nitpicking Nerds have peaked, we have not. We're actually on a steady incline, and we can never go down. And if you think we have gotten worse, you're incorrect. I'm sorry. That's just facts.
It's the same as if you guessed the Maraschiello ad. It's going to be in the video, but you're going to be wrong when you guess it.
Yes, because Maraschiello.com is awesome. So there's going to be that. Cool Stuff Inc. is a way to buy the magic cards you were going to buy anyway. Go there, use code
NERDS.
And as long as you use code
NERDS,
then you will be supporting us while supporting yourself because you will get 5% off. That is amazing.
Tangible money in your hands. I also have to shout out Dragon Shield. They're the best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves.
So if you're looking to buy Dragon Shields, the best sleeves in the multiverse,
good sleeves,
go to the description. We have 2 links for you. Whatever is easier for you. You're supporting the channel and you're shopping. And happy birthday to everyone's birthday whose birthday is today. And Cherry's bonus news.
Yes, 2 of our favorite humans in the whole world, MTG Nerd Girl and Veggie Wagon, they have a whole channel called Tournament Grounds where they do a gameplay series called Decked Out. And no, we're not guesting, but there is awesome cosplayers guesting on the episode. In fact, we have an awesome little trailer for you to watch right now.
I just sit here and look pretty.
Wait, isn't the point of an assassin that we wouldn't know if you'd killed someone already? I could be dead right now.
And we wouldn't even know it.
I'm Kalia of the Vast.
I'm Massacre Girl.
Nissa Vastwood Seer.
I'm Rangavan.
Sorry, redo the episode, new cosplay.
Their gameplay series is extremely fun. Get excited for that episode that you're going to watch right after this episode.
As for this episode, we've asked a bunch of our fans, Discord viewers, Twitter people, what questions do you have for us? You have questions about your Commander gameplay, Commander deck building, advice. We got it all here, and we're going to answer them and help you, hopefully help you become a better Commander player somehow.
Yeah, we picked as many questions as we could. We wanted to get to, if you sent in a question, we tried to get to it. Some of them were repeats, so you're not going to see, if yours is a repeat of one you see on here, you're going to be like, I asked that. Well, you asked it too late.
Some of them were incoherent.
Some of them were incoherent. Some of them were actual nonsense. And we even have some nonsense ones on here, but not important. Let's get to it. Let's have fun. This is going to be a fun video. We're going to answer your questions. First, we have, what are each of your personal favorite gods from Magic? Really important they put that because if they did it, I was going to say Yahweh.
Yeah.
But this is submitted by TNT Mage 7.
I got to say, I thought about this a little bit because I read it ahead of time, and Karamitra is what I got to go with. I had a whole Karamitra deck. I think the trigger is super fun. It's fun to just ramp out your whole deck, play white main lions and stuff, so there's a couple close ones, but it's got to be Karamitra.
I gotta say, the MTG gods are all decently cool, but I'm not attached to anyone. I kind of some of the coolest are the zombie gods that we got out of what was that? War of the Spark.
Yeah, Oketra's close second.
Yeah, those are all super duper cool. I kind of like the idea of a zombie god. They're gods. They're also zombies. Those are probably my favorite. That the whole cycle.
We've also never seen gods just die before.
Yes, they did. Those gods died and were reborn as zombies, which is awesome.
I mean, Xenagos died, but whatever. Was it MTG that brought you two together as friends by Punisher 2112? I would say yes, because we are not the same age, so I don't really know how we ever would have interacted outside of Magic the Gathering, because that's where people gathered to play the game.
Which is completely fair. We have a 6-year gap in our age, so we didn't go to high school together or anything. We just kind of have a decent sized gap, and then we met through Magic the Gathering. We both played. We both enjoyed the game.
I couldn't even tell you when we started hanging out. Neither of us has a memory of that. Apparently, it just started happening.
Yeah,
through osmosis or something.
Very, very true. Because I also don't know. I can't follow. There was a point when I met you and we weren't friends, and then we were friends, and whatever happened in between there is a blank.
What a cute story.
Yeah, what isn't it? The
Everyone remembers their, the meet cute
of
best friends. What is your favorite bad card that doesn't go in any deck but still has a place in your heart, Maria?
Well, this is easy. This is always going to be Stolen Goods for me. I've told the story on the channel every time.
Classic.
If you want to hear the story, I think it's in another actual Q&A, so that would be where you go to. You can find that story in another Q&A in the past. It's a fun story, but basically someone stole my deck. It had Stolen Goods in it.
That's how you knew.
That's how I knew it was my deck.
Yes. Imperial Archangel for me, that one specific copy that I own that is beat up, it's this specific piece of cardboard. I love it. It's easily my favorite maybe my favorite possession, just in terms of memories. Like, it really means a lot to me. So, what is your personal favorite archetype to play against? Goosingham.
See, this one, my thought was I don't have an answer. I don't really care what archetypes I play against. It's mostly the opposite. Sometimes there's an archetype I don't like playing against. I don't really like playing against group hug. I don't like playing against stacks specifically. While everything else, kind of fair game. I mean, some other ones can be annoying to play against. I don't really have a favorite. I want you to bring, like, when people usually when they present like 3 decks and like which one do you want me to play, unless it's something I don't like, I just say, hey, play what you want.
Yeah, I like having people just play whatever they want, and then I go, all right, I'll find the deck that matches that power level afterwards. I feel like I have more decks than most people, so I like to give them the opportunity to play what they want first. I'll play it all eventually.
Yeah, so I have least favorites, but I don't really have favorite archetypes to play against. What is your favorite commander to play against? I thought this was funny. I put it right next. Just solely. Again, I just don't have one. I purposely put these questions right next to each other because they're very similar.
Yeah, I guess if I have to pick, I'll say like Queen Marchesa or Jared Carthalion or like Starscream, I guess. Let's get the Monarch in there.
The ones that I would say also the ones that bring in the initiative. I actually, there's like a big discussion point around the initiative being frustrating because you can't just play the card. You need to bring another card with you.
Which has a lot of words.
To do it, but I still love it. I find the initiative to be so fair and fun.
I mean, the token's online, right? So you really don't have to bring it. You have a phone.
Yeah, that's also very true. But it is a fair complaint that you can't just bring your deck of cards and know what's going on.
Yes. Do you prefer foils? Tenori, I actually do prefer foils. I like the coolest, blingiest version of cards, but obviously I have way too many decks, so I keep it all dedicated to, like, I have one deck that I'm going to foil out to the absolute max. That deck is absurdly expensive, and then I kind of just, that allows me to forget it for the rest of my decks.
I also prefer foils, but at the same time, it depends on if the foils are curling. Because if we're having the curling issue that we've had the last couple of years of Magic, then I don't want that foil. I don't want the Pringly foil. If it's a normal foil and it's flat, I want it.
It's actually funny. If I would rather have a curly foil than a non-foil in terms of like coolness.
See, no, I'd rather have give me the flat non-foil.
Yes. What crossover like Lord of the Rings would you like to see in a future upcoming set by Razerial? I don't really have any. I don't think a crossover could make me mad. I didn't cry about the Fortnite one. I don't really care about most of them. I think they're overall healthy for the game if they bring in new players. If I really had to pick one, maybe Power Rangers. That was a big one.
That'd be really cool.
Childhood.
That was actually one of the ones I was thinking. It'd be really cool. It'd be really nostalgic in a lot of ways, especially if they did Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
I don't really know how they'd like differentiate any of them though.
The one. What do you mean?
Like, what does the Pink Ranger card do that the Blue Ranger card doesn't do?
There's reach because you got bow. I mean that's the little tiny things that it would be.
Okay, all right.
I mean, yeah, it would just be stuff. It would be little things like that. But for me, it would probably be same kind of line like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, also super nostalgic.
See, that one I could see.
Super fun. They just kind of fit into, like, they'd be fun. They would go along, like, they fit perfectly like the Street Fighter cards do. Like, I don't know. I really like those. There's a ton of cool things I wouldn't argue with. There's not much I care if it gets in the game. There's very few things going to be like, that's in the game? Ew.
How often do you proxy cards, and was there ever a time where you were uncomfortable with the fact that someone had proxied cards? That's from Camille, and this is interesting because I almost never proxy cards. So usually when I build a deck, I get everything together, I order all the cards immediately. That's kind of just how I roll. But there is a time where I have all the cards together, and I'm waiting for the cards to ship. That's actually when I have proxies in the deck, so maybe I'll play it once or twice with proxies. Most of the time I just let it go. Don't really play with proxies, but I don't think I've ever been uncomfortable with someone playing proxies, especially if it's all cleared beforehand. It can be a little weird for somebody to throw down like some proxied like Ristic Study or something in the middle of the game. You're just like, oh, okay, I didn't really expect that, so I prefer a conversation beforehand, but I've never been upset about it.
I've also never been upset about it. Proxies, everyone should play proxies if they want to play proxies. Usually it's best to clear it beforehand, like BZ said. As for playing proxies, I don't really play proxies except for of dual lands. I own one of each dual land.
Yeah, you definitely do that.
I am not jumping from deck to deck with those. I buy and I purchase all the other cards. I mean, this is my career, so it's a big difference for me. So it's like I understand why more people proxy, and I support people proxying, but this is my career. I'm buying the Magic cards. I love having the physical cards myself. Besides dual lands, those are expensive.
I actually go a step further. I can't proxy when I don't proxy dual lands. I just have them in whatever decks they're in.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
Dual lands are too expensive for you to buy like 15 of each.
Yeah. What's the next question?
How much are you willing to spend on a single deck? Notion Rain. There's not really a specific limit. I own a lot of Magic cards as it is, so usually I can put together at least 50% of a deck, if not more. there are specific cards I'm not going to buy, though. I'm not going to buy Time Twister. I don't own one. So I won't proxy it either. I mean, that's not going to make my deck. I don't play many Wheel of Fortunes, even though Wheel of Fortune's a really good card. Basalt Monolith, or Grim Monolith, rather, not making my decks just because I feel it's certain specific cards. But overall, a deck, I'm just going to spend whatever it usually costs.
Yeah, our average deck, I think, costs somewhere around like between 500 and 800, but most of the time we just have the stuff, so typically for me, it's like I search our whole collection for the stuff we have. We have 83 cards. Then I order the other 17 weirdo cards online and through Cool Stuff Inc. And then it's like, cool, I save 5%. Now the deck's all together.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't really have necessarily a set limit, but there are cards that are mostly reserve list cards that I'm just not going to buy.
Yes. How do you guys handle the anxiety that comes with playing high-powered games? Not going to say 09. Well, you said it. You said you're not going to say. This is interesting because I don't know that there is like inherent anxiety that comes through playing high-power games. I've played plenty of high-stakes Magic. I think there's some anxiety in tournaments, so maybe that's what they're talking about. So maybe we should just assume that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. When playing Commander, I don't really get that anxiety, so I kind of just play Commander. It's for fun. I don't care if I win or lose. Even when I'm playing a CDH game, I just don't care if I get there or not. Ultimately, it's for fun, and I'm trying to win. I'm doing my best to win. But when I mess up a line and I don't get there, I just kind of like let it slide off my back.
Yeah, your friend. If it's a casual game, your friends are not going to like attack you for making a misplay or even doing something silly in hindsight. If it's a tournament, though, we have played like between the two of us like infinite tournaments, PPTQs, GPs, whatever. So I think that the joke we always used to make was like you could stress about all the math and like how many games do I need to win or what do I have to do, and we always just say, oh, the best strategy is just to try to win. No matter what, like, if nothing else matters, every single game, you just go and, like, take it one game at a time, and your strategy is to win.
I will say that also anxiety has become more of a feature of my life. It's just there, and I get more anxious more often.
Sounds like a bug.
It's a feature.
It's a feature. Wow.
It's a feature. I have to live with it. I have to deal with it. I avoid I avoid tournament Magic now because it stresses me out. So if you don't, there's a lot of ways to play Magic.
Yeah,
right?
There's two sides to it. Like on the one side, you could try to compartmentalize and zoom in, but like you said, you could just, if this isn't the thing for you, don't force yourself to have all the stress.
You can play Magic and enjoy the tournament scene, and you can't, like you said, you can like work through it if you want to, if that's what you want. But also, I don't enjoy the stress of high level Magic anymore because it's just like I don't like that. I just don't like all the rules, like how you have to play. I just want to play. I want to play, for lack of a better term, fast and loose.
I was going to say that.
Just have fun. Like I don't care. I want to sling spells and not care about the end result. Just like I want to if like this card wins me the game and this one is a tally, I just want to slam a tally.
You don't want to have to worry about the 1% lines.
Yes, exactly.
You don't want to increase your win percentage by 1%.
I don't care to. It's just not. It's not important to me. It's like when I build draft decks on Arena, I often put 41 and 42 cards. I'm not trying to get the 1%. I just want to play and have fun.
What patterns should you look for when testing a new deck? This is from Frank Magyar, and I really like this question because we haven't talked about testing out new decks a lot. For me, I think I do a lot of testing on Moxville.com. It's the best way to build a deck online, and I think we're just going to mix it right into this question because I'm actually just going to answer it while testing on Moxville. Moxville has a testing feature. It lets you kind of goldfish virtually without having to have the cards in your hand. So I throw up that testing feature, and I'll kind of play through. What I do is play through like the first 6-ish turns, and what I'm looking for is I want to hit all my land drops, and I want to, after turn 6, basically have so much to do with my hand and my cards that I want to stop playtesting because there's no way to go past that. It's like, well, I don't have people in front of me, but my hand's stocked. I have 4 different avenues to go down, and I'm not going to run out of resources. That's what I look for mostly.
See, I look for my deck to function. And by that, I mean, when I sit down and I start playing games with it, I want to see, am I in the games? Am I drawing cards? Am I playing it? Am I running out of spells? Am I not? Am I constantly having something to do? That's what I like. And I like to get in the actual games to do that. And then once my deck is actually functioning, I care, are the people I'm playing with having fun, and am I having fun? Because ultimately, that's what I'm looking for. It's like if I'm playing a deck and every time I play it, people roll their eyes because I pull it out. Those are the things I'm looking to avoid ultimately because I'm looking to cultivate an experience that is fun for everyone. So I look for my deck to be fun for me to play and fun for my opponents to play against.
Yeah, I think one of the primary things I'm looking for then is, if I had to boil it down to one thing, is make sure I'm not running out of cards in the early game. You're just dead in the water. That's the worst thing you could do is to stop churning through your deck. Also, Moxfield, really the best way to build a deck. And if you're not doing it, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Every single one of our decks is there. Go follow us. We're looking to get to 10K sub-followers. So
Follow scribers.
become a follow scriber and follow us so we can get to 10K and be the first account to get the 5-digit followers on the website.
Here's another testing question. How many times of playing a new deck do you consider to be the testing phase? From Zach Brooks. I don't know. I usually do end up playing a deck in paper a little bit for the testing phase. And there's certainly a number of games where if it's kind of failing me, I'll either take it back to the drawing board or scrap it. I have before.
Yeah.
So what do you answer this?
I don't really think there's an exact number. I think it's usually like the first two, like we do like little FNMs at our house and we have people over. Usually like 2 weeks in a row of like bringing the deck out an extra couple times, playing it for 2 weeks and then testing it. Usually that gives me enough information to know that whether I like it or not, or if it has to change.
Yeah, I'd say about maybe 3 to 4. If I had to give you a number, I'd say 3 to 4.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
How do you guys cope with product fatigue? Energetic.
I just don't, I'll be honest, I just don't even feel it because this is my career, this is my job. It's a lot different for me, and it's tough to answer this question because I have to interact with all the products, I have to do it, and sometimes when a product, I'm like, really, that came out, and I'm not that interested. Aftermath came out. We haven't done a video on it yet. We're about to.
Yeah, we
but
will.
It's like we just kind of ignored it. I think the best thing to do is ignore the product you don't care about. It's like if there's 1.5 million products, sometimes just be like, I don't want to interact with this product. And you don't have to.
A lot of the thing to avoid is like fear of missing out. So if your like Twitter social circles and stuff are going to all be posting about like, oh my God, I'm trying to open the One Ring. Why aren't you trying to open the One Ring? It's like, you need to distance yourself from that because you are not required to buy every product. It is completely optional, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Just avoid the products you don't like. That's what I would do. I mean, there is a lot of product, but you don't have to interact with it all. It's as simple as that.
Right. For us specifically, I kind of say keep it coming because it's my job. So it gives me more videos to make.
I'm gonna be interacting with every single product. The fatigue's not gonna happen. It would have to be like double the amount of product they're putting out right now for me to actually get tired of it.
Right. For like we can't keep up and we make daily videos. How would you argue against putting unsynergistic staples into your deck? Wurthrieng. This is like Rhystic Study in a creature deck type thing. Absolute auto includes, you could say.
So there isn't really an argument to be made against it. I mean, there's a lot of decks where ultimately if you're building for power, you kind of just put these staples in. You see it in a lot of CEDH type lists where ultimately we just see a ton of fast mana shoved in the decks regardless of synergy, and you see like Rhystic Studies and a lot of these cards shoved in there, and they're the right call, right?
There's 35 cards in any given deck that have nothing to do with the game plan that you could just play.
Yeah, exactly. But ultimately where I am is it's not an argument against it, but it's not fun to me. So what I do is I play these cards. I've played Rhystic Study. I've played Teferi's Protection. I've played...
Been there, done that.
Been there, the Consecrated Sphinx. There's 1 million of these cards. I've played them. I've gotten my games in with them.
We know they're good.
And now I've moved on from them. Soul Ring is the same way. It's just like, I've been there, done that. I've had it in the decks over and over again. Ultimately, I want to make more fun, synergistic decks. So what I do is when I get to the final cuts of a deck, and I'm like, what can I cut out of this deck? And it's like, oh, I can cut the worst card. That's a fun synergy piece, or I can cut Teferi's Protection. I'm now cutting Teferi's Protection.
Yeah, we just don't have any interest in those anymore. I'm sure it'll swing back around and we'll get to an arms race again, but right now we're in the ebb of the ebb and flow. I don't know if we're actually in the ebb or if we're in the flow, but how do y'all feel about overall direction Magic is going? Wizards seems to be pushing the game to be centered around Commander more and more every set. Do you think it's healthy/sustainable for Commander to be the primary goal rather than 60-card formats? Submitted by Eric. Interesting question. It's no question, though, that Wizards is pushing Commander for basically every set. A lot of pros were talking about Aftermath like, these are just a bunch of Commander cards.
Yeah, other than like Obnixilis, which seems to be a very good card like all around the board, there's just not many cards in Aftermath that seem to affect anything except Commander, because we have this 50-card set has 20 legendary creatures, which is just kind of absurd. It's 50 cards.
Yeah.
How are there so many legendary creatures?
It's very, very weird. I think it's fine to chase where people follow the audience, right? If everybody's into Commander, it's the most popular format, not close. Whereas back in the day, it was like up there with Draft, and now it's just like, if it's way out in front, why wouldn't they chase that? I think it can lead to some subpar things for us, but overall it leads to more cards and more Commanders. We get more Jeweled Lotuses and more Docksides this way, and the format can get a little stale. But again, we just talked about how we combat that. We just don't play those cards.
But also on the same note, you get more Docksides and you get more Jeweled Lotuses, but you also get more Apex Devastators. You also get more of these cards that Atali, let's say new Atali. We get so many of these cards. There is probably 10 to 20 really cool cards for Commander every set, and then about once or twice a year you get a broken card, and so you just have to deal with that, right? It's like when you're designing for any format, they're going to make broken cards. So ultimately, I feel like it's a good thing because we get so many cards and we have so many viable archetypes. Commander is such a large and rich format in like diversity because it's focused on.
The things that I actually think are secretly the worst cards they can release is like Command Tower and Arcane Signet. I would like 0 more of those cards that just silently go in every deck and make the format that much less interesting. What are your guys' thoughts on kingmaking or trying to hurt an opponent who is killing you as much as you can before you die? I always thought it was the appropriate thing to punish a player who is killing you, even if you die, but I've also heard that isn't fair. Just curious on your opinion. King of Second Place. Very fitting name.
So let's start with kingmaking. Kingmaking is going out of your way to try and make sure somebody wins the game.
Who isn't you?
Who isn't me. So kingmaking is a very, very interesting thing. I ultimately am not a huge fan of kingmaking, but I think a big reason people do kingmaking is if they're not, say they're having a bad game or something, they want to participate in the game, so it makes a lot of sense, right? It's like if you couldn't win the game, if you can help someone else out, it feels like you're participating more. So I understand why people do kingmaking. Do I think it's the most fun? No. Can it be frustrating? Incredibly. When it feels like you've played well and you got to a point where you're going to win, and then basically a third party just decides which one of, say it's me and BZ, one of us is going to win this game, and a third party gets to make that decision, it does feel bad at times.
Yeah, overall I have it in like a negative space, but there are a lot of situations where it's unavoidable. Like if I'm trying to make the best play for myself, and it's me and 2 other people, and I'm basically in a spot where everyone can relate to this, I will die to one of them. I don't know which one. I can basically choose which one I die to, but I will die to the other player. Sometimes I'll just bow out of that game and go like, I don't want to impact this game, but also me bowing out basically just means the next person wins. So if I can bow out and have no impact, I will, but most of the time I just say, I got to make the best play for me. This means I'll die, but I'll die later, so I have to kill you.
Okay. And also, the other question is trying to hurt an opponent before you die. I think that this is a completely fair thing. If you are using, other than conceding, conceding is not a good thing. Like if someone attacks you with a lifelink here.
Not a spell.
That's not a spell. Any spell you have I think is a completely fair thing to use it before you go out to hurt the opponent who came after you. I think it makes for cool politics. I think it makes for people to think about eliminating people because ultimately people know if they knock me out of a game, if I have an instant or sorcery, it's going to be used to negatively impact them, even if I'm going to die. So
that's my next move. That's my last ditch effort where I go like, if you attack me, I'm going to mess you up. And they're like, okay, I'm still going to kill you. I'm like, all right.
I mean, it's not even that big of a deal.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, because ultimately, if you couldn't stop them from killing you, how bad could you have really hurt them?
Yeah. How do you manage decks which might not be fun for others to play against when there are strategies you like to play, i.e. discard and stacks, by the White Stallion? This is interesting because we've all had this, I think, where we build a deck, we really like it, it's fun to play with, not so fun to play against.
I am really on the point of Commander where I just don't play these decks. I just take them apart if they're not fun for other people to play against. For me, it is as important for me to have fun as my opponents. So even if I enjoy a strategy, I had a discard deck that was kind of cool for a while. I took it apart very quickly because I noticed right away people did not enjoy playing against it.
Yeah, I have multiple play groups, so what I do is I kind of like compartmentalize a little bit where I go, okay, like this deck is too strong for this group. I will not play it. I'll play it in a no-holds-barred environment, which I have access to elsewhere, but like I won't play it against Joe or something. And there's also like, one of the things I did was I wanted to like dabble into stacks a little bit, but I know that no one's going to want to play against that. I don't even know if I'm going to want to play that. It's going to make me feel like crap, stalling out the game. But I did a budget version. I'm like, oh, I'll play a few Hate Bears and like a $50 deck and see how I like it. And so far it's been pretty good. So maybe like you could water it down a little bit. You could add a restriction, or you could just kind of make sure that you play it against the people who can handle it.
Yeah, that's fair. How do you handle rules, misunderstanding, and disagreements? Capital G. Look them up on the internet.
God, I wish I had an answer. Every time I try to correct somebody on a rule where I'm like, I know this, they don't listen to me. So we have to go to online, and I have not found a way around it where I'm just like, oh, I actually know this rule. It's a weird one. You have to do X, Y, Z. And they're just like, no, I don't. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm just like, all right, let's pull it up. And then we just kind of waste 5 minutes. I feel like it's just awkward.
Yeah, sometimes I know the ruling, but looking it up is the best way to answer it. If there is places online where you can basically, there's an Ask a Judge place. I
don't know. That site has never worked for me.
That's
like
fair.
It's just like buggy.
But ultimately, getting the answer online is the best way to go.
They'll probably have it. If it's something like, can I clone this? It's like you'll probably be able to find
You
it.
can find rules interaction. A lot of one of the best places to go for rules interaction is Gatherer. Gatherer often, like if you specific card, they have rules at the bottom of every card, and often it'll have the answer to whatever question you'll have about that card.
Yep. What are your thoughts on battles to Vantus? I think battles are cool. I think they have opened up a lot of space. They left themselves a lot of room because the battles we see are not what battles even do. They're sieges that we force a player to protect. So there could be battles that I protect. There could be battles that are neutral, and anyone can attack them. They've left themselves open a lot of space, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I like battles too. I wasn't sure how to feel about them. I was skeptical when new type of card is a lot. I really do like them. I honestly do. I think they were cool for limited, and I think they're cool for Commander. There's not a lot of like really strong or great ones for Commander currently, but that's fine. There still are decent ones to play, and I am happy about these cards.
Is there a Planeswalker you'd like to see as a commander? Femog 100. For me, I will actually just say no. I don't. It doesn't matter to me.
I mean, Elspeth. I want to play Elspeth as my commander. I literally have a Rule 0 Elspeth deck. I obviously would like to have Elspeth just be my legal commander.
Yes. Do you think that the increase of Commander product and Commander-focused cards has created an artificial rotation in Commander by Pope Unban Umezawa's Jite? It's a very long Pope name.
But no, I don't think so at all. I think ultimately, because Commander is a for-fun format, there's no rotation. It just doesn't exist. You can literally play a Commander deck from 7 years ago and still have just as much fun and be just as viable in the format as any deck that was built today.
I think I might actually agree with you a little bit, Pope. I think that it's very slow, though, but we can look at cards like Explosive Vegetation, which have kind of rotated out of the format, but it's taken years of just piling on similar, non-egregious, slightly better versions of it. I don't think that's harmful. That just kind of sounds like power creep in general to me. So maybe you could look at it like that a little bit, but that's like glacially slow. So in general, not really. Overall, I guess some of these bare bones cards are getting replaced, but nobody's really mad about that.
But ultimately, like, even though you would say it's rotated out, it's still a completely fine and viable card to play because
It's still functional, yeah.
It's still functional. So it's like even like I said, even a deck you put together 7 years ago that might have some of those cards that are rotated out is still going to function and be fun, which is the goal of the format. It's not about winning.
Right. You'll just lose like 1% whenever you cast a spell if your whole deck is like those old cards. What was the card you thought was broken when you were first getting into the game, but turned out to actually be pretty bad? Little Mr. Doom.
Little Mr. Doom. I thought this question was awesome. This is super true. Everybody does this.
We all have it. Like, I hate flying. Flying is broken.
I mean, for me, it was Avacyn, Angel of Hope. I mean, and the card is a little broken in a sense of like when the removal is all targeted and destroy, and you don't necessarily have exile, and when you don't have access to the best cards, for sure, means you might not have exile effects, meaning something like an Avacyn can become the dominant force that runs away with the game. It's not broken. It's a totally fair card. For 8 mana, Avacyn gives you an 8 mana effect. It's it's not bad. So I guess it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
fine. Expected. It's par.
It's par for the course. And for me, it was like, that card is broken. It is silly. Oh my God.
You want to go deep. My first set that I was exposed to was Portal Second Age. And yes, I did play that set and then continue wanting to play Magic somehow. This is Coercion. It's 2 and a black. And you can take any card from their hand. That has to be broken. I don't like that is too good. I will put it in all my decks because wow, Coercion is too good. I still have that copy, I think.
Coercion is busted.
It's broken.
Will you tear a Grave Titan into pieces at 125k subs? No grad. I would tear a Grave Titan into pieces for free at any time.
Yeah, I will say no, but not in the way that's going to be disappointing to you. We've already set a Grave Titan on fire in one of our shorts.
Yeah, we've destroyed a Grave Titan. Destroying Magic cards is fun, especially when people are going to get upset. I find it. It's not that I want to upset people, but ultimately you have to think about this. This is a piece of my Grave Titan. It is a piece of my property I own.
Yeah,
I should be able to do what I want. There's no down. There are. It's not like this is a rare card. This isn't even anything. Even if it was a rare card, who cares? It's my card, and I wanted to destroy it because it was fun.
Yeah, you get into you see somebody rip up like a Misty Rainforest, and all the comments will be like, "What are you doing? Like, this is so stupid." It's like, if you can not like it, feel free to go oh, I don't think that was a good idea, but you can't say anything objective like this is bad. There's somebody can rip up their card. It's so amoral to me, and there's no judgment you can really make on it.
Who was your first commander, and do you still play them? My first commander was Maelstrom. I've rebuilt this deck in a million different ways. Currently, I have it rebuilt as currently a Karuga deck. It's very fun. It is a lot slower than it was before, which I like. I like that. I don't do anything till turn 3, and I tell players when I sit down now, feel free to kill me. Feel free to knock me out of the game. I will have no hard feelings.
That deck deserves it.
This deck is going to pop off. Maybe as soon as I get to 8 mana, this deck's going to start popping off.
Yep. Carador, Ghost Chieftain was my first deck. I've iterated on it a million billion times. I have 2 Carador decks now. One CDH all foil. The other one literally just the cards I enjoy playing / I've gotten as a gift. And that deck makes me really happy. They both make me happy for different reasons, so I will play them till I die.
Is Tyvar the best himbo in MTG lore? And if not, would you say that to his face? Double Pope Thigmatic. I love this question. It's completely silly.
Yes, he is.
He is. That's just objectively yes.
I think he is.
Yeah, it's tough to argue. Tyvar is definitely a great himbo.
Say what you will about the All We Won March of the Machine story, but Tyvar was pretty cool.
Tyvar is actually a decent character. They actually developed him, unlike a lot of their other characters.
Yes. Favorite card in Hensi?
Right now.
Cherries.
Isaac Newton asked this question. I mean, it's probably one of my favorite cards because it's kind of like under the radar, and it's just we went through so many games. Is the Kessig Cage Breakers, whatever their name is, Kessig something.
It's like a weird. It does like a Rise of the Dark Realms impression, where it's like all my stuff before now is attacking you.
Yeah, when you attack, you get attacking wolves equal to the number of creatures in your graveyard to hold back his creatures. You get a ton of wolves. It puts away a lot of games, and it's super fun. I love that it is this weird pseudo overrun effect that is just not that good of a card in like 90% of decks, but it's awesome in this one.
You know what's annoying? Also, that's an all creature deck. So you know what's annoying with that card is I've seen you attack, get like 8 wolves, and then it goes back to your hand for some reason, and people are just like, all right, time to kill somebody else. I'm like, you're going to die. And then they kill me or something, and then they just die. And I'm like, wow, Kessig Cage Breakers has like, some kind of aura around it where like nobody notices.
It does look bad. It looks bad, right? It doesn't look like a good card.
Yeah, it doesn't have the art of a great card. What would you rather fight? 1 Grave Titan-sized Tiny Bones or 50 Tiny Bone-sized Grave Titans? New Life Dante. This is a very interesting question. We get asked this all the time, this exact question.
Yeah, this is the easiest question ever. There's no chance. Grave Titan's a giant. It's not huge. Its size is not fightable. Tiny Bones was the size of it. It would not be fightable. It's way too big. I could never take it down. Tiny Bones is incredibly tiny. Would it be tough to fight all those Grave Titans? Yes, they all have tiny swords. I would have to wear very good shoes to make sure those swords could not stab through.
But if I could choose my wardrobe, I think I can win.
Yeah, so I think I can beat all of the Grave Titans. It's going to be tough, and they're going to be cutting up my feet pretty bad.
They're going to be spewing out tiny little zombies.
And they're going to be cutting my feet. Like, that's like this, it's like paper cuts in your feet over and over. It'd be so annoying.
Just wear these boots. You'll be all right.
Yeah, let's fight tiny Grave Titan-sized Tiny Bones. Or no, flip it. 50 Tiny Bone-sized Grave Titan. Let's fight those.
Has playing without Soul Ring improved the fun in your matches? Big Lad Dan. Yes, and it's not even close, baby.
Yeah, it has. I would say it. We just don't get those games that are quote-unquote ruined by Soul Ring, where somebody just runs away, gets out in front, and basically you can't catch them. Those just don't happen when nobody has a Soul Ring.
It's amazing. It's so refreshing, because how many times have you sat down to play a game and you keep a hand, you're like, this is okay, like, let's have some fun. And everyone agrees beforehand. They're like, no fast mana, no tutors. And then someone's like, Soul Ring's not fast mana. And they play it because people, for some reason, say they don't play fast mana when they play Soul Ring, which is just fast mana. It's the second best card in the format. So then you just look at your hand and you just go, oh, we're playing an entirely different game. Like, and you just kind of get this little sinking feeling where you're just like, oh, it's not going to be as fun as I thought.
Well,
we don't have that.
I almost got completely run over, and like the game would have been that close. Like I would have definitely lost. 2 people played Soul Ring, and I just happened to have the Force of Figure, so I was like, okay.
It's just it's
the best
karma,
feeling.
The instant gratification.
It felt so good because it's like, okay, I can 2 for 2
all day.
Get rid of Soul Rings, and now we can just play on a fair playing field.
Yeah, Nature's claiming a Soul Ring is just like, not today, buddy. But also, we've virtually Nature's claimed all Soul Rings by just not playing them. Would you guys ever record and upload draft videos? By Jason. We love draft.
We literally have. First thing, they're really old. I don't even know if they're listed anymore, but
probably not.
They existed. Ultimately, if we were going to do content on draft, it would be on another channel.
Yeah,
it's something we would consider doing. Currently, right now, we don't really have the time, but we both enjoy draft. I would say if we can get editing completely off our plate in the future, which is something we're slowly beginning to outsource, that it would be a much more viable option.
Yeah, I probably do like 35 drafts every set on Arena, sometimes more. I don't have as much free time, and some of the sets have been a little lately, so But I would definitely, if I could just do it and not lose time in the week, I would. Favorite Magic artist? ? By Cadet65.
I have a lot of favorite Magic artists. I love Magali. Johannes Voss does a ton of good stuff. There's infinite, and it's gonna be I'm gonna miss a million of them, but I do want to shout out a couple of ones I really like. Phil Stone, absolutely awesome dude. I got to chat with him in Minneapolis. He's awesome. Played a couple games with his son. His son is an awesome human as well. His wife, also an awesome human. Met all three of them. So Phil Stone also does amazing art as well. And I also love Andrew Garcia. Not technically a Magic artist, but he does the cool stuff Inc. All those cool play mats with like Nerd Girl and CGB on them. Those are done by him, and he's an amazing artist. He's done Bolas for a comic cover as well. His art is amazing.
For me, I think that one of the artists that kind of helped get me into the game and like solidify like me playing and just thinking Magic was awesome was Alexi Bricklow. They did the art for all 5 of the original Planeswalkers, and oh my god, they were all so good, and it just made me want to like dive into this game so much more because they came out right before I started playing. So I was real hyped about them. I was like, this is the coolest. I need to collect all 5 of these cards right now.
Yeah, Rebecca Gay is another one. That's another great artist. There's so many infinite great artists in this game, and I know I could sit here and list them all off, but there are so many. But I listed a bunch of the ones I could think of.
What's your favorite video you've ever made? By Dom. I don't know about this, Cherries. We might have the same answer, but my favorite video, not close, was our logical fallacies episode where we talked about real-world logical fallacies and how they could factor into Commander and how they let you make better play decisions.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one a lot, but I think my favorite video we ever made was just our best card from each set. It was super fun to make.
Worked the hardest.
It was a huge project, a huge undertaking, and it took us a long time to get that video out. And ultimately, it turned out really good, and people responded super positively to it. So that's probably my favorite.
Shout-outs to bonus video that you probably didn't know existed. We opened a box of Dragon's Maze in a kiddie pool, submerged underwater, ruined the whole thing, and then gave them out to fans. That was awesome.
Yes. Oh my God.
The underwater box opening.
Dude, I don't remember. I can't remember who has the card. I think Christian, my partner, Christian. I was at his house and I was going through his cards, okay? And I pulled out one. I'm like, is it all right if I throw this out? This is completely ruined. He's like, no, you opened that underwater. I'm like, wow.
He kept that?
He has it.
Wow.
He just has it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm definitely not throwing it out. Now it's like, I didn't know. I just thought, I'm like, this is a ruined Magic card. Why do you have this ruined Magic card?
If you search underwater box opening Dragon's Maze, it'll probably come up. It's pretty solid stuff. Is Bonesaw a sword? By Cadet. This is an interesting question. I'm going to say no. It's clearly a saw.
It could be both. It's a sword saw. Bone saw, I would assume, is a saw. Yeah, and also classic Bone saw. Also a professional wrestler in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man universe.
Yes.
Also an important note to make.
If anything, Bonesaw is ready.
So wait, no. It is not a sword. It's a professional wrestler.
Correct. Bonesaw is, in fact, ready. What does protection from everything mean? Tom Donahue, I think this was funny, and maybe we can help you out. Protection is it can't be enchanted, equipped, dealt damage, or blocked by X. So it could be creatures, artifacts, but in this case, it's everything. So as long as it doesn't meet those criteria, Wrath of God doesn't enchant, equip, damage, or block, or whatever. So that doesn't care about protection. So if you play Progenitus and they play Wrath of God or Tragic Arrogance or Fleshback Marauder, it still dies. So protection from everything, not nearly as good as it seems.
Yes, but it is hilarious because I remember trying to make any arguments against this all the time. Where it's like, how can you?
It's protection from everything.
How do you can't tutor it? It's got protection from being tutored.
Yeah, how are you karmic guiding that?
You
thing?
can't karmic guide it. It's got protection from being returned from the graveyard.
Yeah,
it's got protection from everything.
Favorite synergy that doesn't go infinite, Grubblethorn. I actually had this come up earlier at Minneapolis, and it was very fun, and it was the most wholesome Commander Magic I've ever played. So I'm going to go with Eldrazi Displacer plus Siege Rhino. That was those cards are both okay. Eldrazi Displacer is fine. Siege Rhino's terrible, but I got to do that, and it was like the best thing ever. I was just living the dream.
There's a lot of them with this one specific card. It is Radiant Performer, which says anything that is a single target spell or ability can be switched to be target anything. So I found this card and I put this in my Zyra deck. So I put a bug counter on one creature, and then I copy it, and now every single creature gets a bug counter. So whenever all those creatures die,
you get cards.
I draw cards and get bugs. But also, I found this to be a really sweet interaction with Beast Within. That basically ends.
Really sweet. The game's over.
You end the game. I mean, if you have more than enough stuff, then you will win the game.
That's actually a little risky.
It is.
But I think the most brutal ones are Assassin's Trophy. That's pretty much game over. And Chaos Warp. That's game over because nobody wants to sit through that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I really like that interaction. I like that card just does a lot of silly things. Like,
Yeah, that's really silly.
it's just over the top silly, tons of synergies. Zyra is the main thing I like about it.
What is Amber's favorite card by Bad Tweet?
This is easy.
Amber has a few favorite cards. I would say one of them is definitely Winter Orb. She likes to play stacks in Commander, but she only ever plays 12 lands.
Overburden. She loves Overburden.
She's a big Overburden fan, so like blue-based, like
Blue-white stacks.
Grand Arbiter, Augustin IV, Overburden, Winter Orb, Static Orb. She likes the orbs. She likes to kind of like bat them around on the table.
Yeah, exactly.
But only ever plays 12 lands.
12 land stacks, yeah. It's stacks pieces. Any stacks piece you can think of, Amber probably has it in her.
Probably tried it, yeah.
I mean, she literally has 87 slots free for stacks pieces.
Right, she doesn't want to play that many lands. Favorite sleeve color by Jizzard?
I mean, it's purple sleeves. I mean,
Orange.
I mean, we just purple, orange. I like anything by Dragon Shield, but I really, really want to specifically use purple on decks. But ultimately, I don't like having any of my decks in the same color sleeve, so I have a rainbow of colors.
Yes. How tall is Beezy? In meters, please. Well, I'm going to answer it inches first. Go get wrecked. Standard system, baby. I am 6 feet 6 inches tall, or 200.66 centimeters tall, Tom. That's pretty tall, and some people say I'm taller than that, but I don't know how to verify that.
Yeah, I think BZ's actually 6'7". Everybody who says they're 6 foot is shorter than BZ.
6'6".
So everyone who says they're 6'6".
Yeah, I mean, are they lying to me? They're like, I'm 6'6", and I'm just like, no, you're not.
I think that everyone lies about their height. So BZ is the only actual 6'6" person.
I'm like honest. So like everybody's lying about their height, and I'm being honest, or I'm accidentally lying also, and I'm taller.
Yeah. Those are the two options. Favorite MDFC. Commander Paradise.
So many to choose from.
I mean, they're all really, really amazing. I mean, ultimately, I think my favorite one is just going to be Against Awakening. No, false. It's Seagate Restoration. Okay.
Yeah.
That card is so fun.
When you cast it, it's awesome.
You just draw so many cards. It's so silly. And it's probably one of my favorite Cascade hits in Maelstrom Wonder. It's so silly.
This is close. There's so many good ones. I think one of my favorites is probably just like Kabir Takedown, just because I can play it in everything. Like I basically play that in any white deck, especially on a budget.
Yeah, completely fair. All right. What Team Up Commander, Robert Gonzalez asks, is your favorite?
Ooh. So like team up commanders that exist right now.
The new ones.
I mean, Thalia and Gitrog Monster is really hard to beat. I love Abzan already. I love Thalia already. You love Thalia already. Gitrog's a meme. Boom.
Yeah, I think Thalia and Gitrog Monster is probably just the answer for me,
The
too.
objectively correct answer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one I built the deck around it right away because it was one of my favorite cards from the whole set, if not my favorite card from the whole set. It's that and Natalia. Those two are fighting for my favorite. Those two are fighting for my heart.
Second is probably Fibblethip and Borborygmos. Both Cyclopses with complete nonsense names. I think it's a really good pairing.
It is. It very, very
He's just
good
like,
pairing.
get him. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, even the little flavor that they gave for it was amazing.
Yeah, he can hide on the third from the top. Wazowski asks, what non-commander formats do you play? We've played pretty much all of them at this point.
Yeah, so right now, what do we play? A draft is the main one. I really enjoy drafting. We have a cube that we draft. It's Commander Cube.
So fun.
I also like Commander Draft, which is different from Commander. But in Draft is the other thing I do. It's I don't really play any script formats. I have no modern decks. I play a little bit of Standard on Arena, but even then, I tend to get bored of it pretty quickly.
Yeah, so in the past, right now we both play Commander and a lot of Draft. In the past, we have extensively played Standard, Modern, and Pioneer. Also, that's kind of the formats we're grinding tournaments with. And they were all fun, but Standard lost me after Aether Revolt.
Yeah.
It was rotating. It just kind of lost me, and I have not gone back since. Pioneer killed me when Theros to Beyond Death came out, and they were like, no infinite combos, LOL JK, here's 3 of them in the same set. That killed Pioneer for me. And then, what was it, when Modern Horizons 2 kind of killed Modern for me. I just it's so less interesting to me now.
Yeah, see, I think I like all these formats, but like I said, I don't like grinding for the 1% points.
Well, you don't like tournament magic much anymore.
Yeah, so because I don't enjoy it, I don't want to get into it. It's I think when I love watching Legacy videos, I watch Bosch and Roll's videos all the time. Aspiring Spike. I love his modern videos. I watch all of them. That said, I also watch Spike because once in a while he just goes, I'm friends with Nitpicking Nerds. He actually, he just did. Actually, oh my God, this is great. I told him when we played our game of Commander that his Cool Stuffing thing was slightly hanging over the edge.
Yeah. Did he fix it?
He fixed it.
Oh.
He fixed it.
Sometimes being a celebrity pays off.
I didn't even get to see him fix it because in the video I watched, it's not fixed, and then he starts to mention the game we played, and then it cuts. to the game and it's fixed. I'm like, no, I want to see him fix it.
That's great. That's really good. Okay, hopefully that is your answer. Do the nerds live together, Josta? Yes, we do. I don't know how else to answer that.
For a little bit. We're going to be moving out, actually. We're currently looking into...
trying to get people to, we're both moving in with our significant others, but obviously we have to be close enough to record in the studio.
We'll see where we end up. I mean, I literally, it could be anywhere, or literally, I would say it could be anywhere from Buffalo to, Portland to Philly.
Yeah.
So
currently, we do live together, but we will soon not live together.
Yes. Okay. I am a competitive MTG player. Most of my play groups are casual players. Besides dumbing my decks down, how do I get into casual mentality during the game? How do I become more of a Timmy so our games are more fun? Tristan Eason. This is a really
couple answers here.
It's a really interesting question. So I think that the key is just realizing that your goal shouldn't be just to win in Commander. The experience of all the players at the table should be of your concern. So ultimately, it's bringing yourself, bringing down your decks to a certain power level, not playing certain cards, maybe not making the most efficient play some of the time. I think you still need to play to win the game. But if somebody casts an Atali and they want to, and it's like they're smiling and laughing, you don't have to counter that Atali. Even if it is the right play, you can let people have fun.
I'm actually gonna just take a completely different route. And if you do still want to make all the objectively correct plays and you don't want to quote unquote dumb your deck down, which I assume means you don't really want to cut Ristic Study from a deck because it doesn't make sense to you, that's fair. But I would say build new decks with restrictions. So you can restrict yourself on budget or you can restrict yourself on theme and then just go, I'm going to make the best blank deck I can, or I'm going to make the best deck I can for $50. And I think that would probably solve a lot of it, where it'll bring you sort of down to them without making you go, why am I playing this deck that's just worse than this other deck? It's like, well, you can give yourself a restriction beforehand or have everybody have the same restrictions. You can be on the same power level or build a cube. There's a lot of different options. Even if you want to just start drafting Baldur's Gate with them a little bit, that could maybe even give you some ideas because you'll all be forced into the same power level.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
At what point do you consider a deck quote-unquote casual, high-powered, and CDH, preferably without referencing the power scale? As we all know, my deck is a 7 and everyone else's deck is a 9. Burn by Moonlight wants to know about that. I think when we have the Rule Zero conversation, and I want to make an update to our power scale video where we talk about how we actually engage with power level and how we figure this out before the game starts. But really what I'm doing is I'm saying, do you play fast mana? Do you play tutors? And do you play combos? Because all three of those things are really going to change the structure of a game immensely, and I need to know so that I can react accordingly and pick my right strength deck. Because if you have combos in your deck, I don't even know if I have a deck that can handle that. Or when I play the game, I'm going to have to just kill you because I can't interact with that. We don't build our decks that way.
Yeah, I think that looking at those three things is the best way without a 7 power scale or whatever. When you look at those three things, also what a good question is, what turn is your deck going to win by if you're goldfishing? That'll help you. If someone's deck is going to win by turn 4 goldfishing, that's a big difference from a deck that's going to win turn 7 or 8 goldfishing.
Or they're like, hey, if my commander sits in play for 2 turns, you're probably going to die because I have, the Ur-Dragon or Halana Lena or something that just goes off. But yeah, I like knowing fast mana tutors combos is the big one, and letting me then, even if you're playing combos and we have to punch up a little bit, just knowing that before the game starts gives everyone an even playing field. It's I am going to come at you more because you play combos. We couldn't get the exact even power level, but now we can make up for it because we had the talk.
What is your favorite plane? Munchie asks. I don't really specifically have one. I do really love Eldraine. I wouldn't say it's necessarily my favorite, but it is a plane I really, really love. And the fact that we're getting what is her name? She actually has, what's the gingerbread lady? What's her name?
Miss Ginger.
Miss Ginger. And she's Sir Ginger.
Is she really?
Yeah, she is a knight. Yeah, she is officially a knight. The SYR Sir Ginger. She is, and her name is actually Ginger.
That's pretty good. That's high quality. I don't know if I have one. I can't really think of one. You know what? New Phyrexia. There you go. New Phyrexia is awesome. I was so happy to go there. But all the other ones I really say are tied for second. I don't really rank the planes, but New Phyrexia to me is by far the coolest.
False. We have literally ranked the planes.
We tier list them, but I don't have I don't keep that up, where I'm just Lorwyn is really not as good as Alara. They're all like right here.
I love Eldraine. I do love Eldraine. Okay. So a couple non-Magic questions.
Yeah, we'll finish off Goofy.
And we'll have some fun. How did you pick your channel name, Ben? We just sat down and this was before we had a channel or anything, and we just started chatting. We found that we wanted an alliteration. We wanted to do nerds because we're nerds. We're going to do nerdy stuff. We weren't just going to be Magic. So.
At the time, yeah, we had not niched down to Magic.
Yeah, so we would just like, okay, and we just kind of like went back and forth. I do know, I did pitch the name Nitpicking Nerds. I do know that. That's one little thing I know.
Okay, I actually don't remember that.
What I like about having a name like Nitpicking Nerds is that Nitpicking Nerds is not an inherently related to Magic. We've made the term Nitpicking Nerds related to Magic, which is cool.
It's like Pleasant Kenobi. It's like, that's a Magic word, but no, it isn't.
But no, it isn't. It's actually a happy Star Wars character.
Yeah. What is each of your favorite non-MTG franchises? Ooh.
This one, it's Pokemon for me. I mean, I've been super nostalgic for Pokemon. It's been a big part of my life on and off since I was a kid. Like super early ages, like the first 3 generations, I played a ton. Then there was like a huge gap where it's like, I was in high school. It was cool. I was playing Call of Duty, baby. I was playing cool games. And then I got back into it like in my early 20s, and there was another gap, and now I'm super into it again. And I just love Pokemon. I've loved it pretty much my whole life. It's very fun.
The next question might even be related to that. Who knows? For me, I don't really play video games too much. I play like mobile games on my phone because I'm a mom. I'm a soccer mom who's got no time to play those video games. But I do keep up with Paper Mario. Easily my favorite series of all time. My favorite game of all time was the second one. And I definitely want to play the new ones when they come out. I still haven't played Color Splash. I just have to get around to that. I'm really slacking. I've played the Origami King, but not Color Splash. And if you watch the video back, we haven't cut a single time. And I've had this just in my lap the entire Q&A ready for when this moment came up. Joe got me this like wood carving of the GameCube like case with all the characters on it. Pretty sweet. I'm going to put this here, and it will remain in my lap for the rest of every video on this channel.
Yeah, so anytime it comes up, BZ will always have
I will
it
always have it. I'll be able to pull it out.
Ready to go. Okay, next time Magic question. When did Joe Cherry start doing Pokemon videos? Billionaire Zero.
Joe Cherry does Pokemon videos?
Yes, I have a channel called Cherry's Challenges. I just started that channel at the end of last year, around the end of December, I believe. I think the literal last day of December, I think I put out my first video. I love making Pokemon videos, and I hope that some of you will go check it out.
I am going to skip these next 2 questions because they are also Pokemon questions. So, favorite Pokemon starter?
Favorite Pokemon starter? It's so hard, but I really, it's tough to beat Piplup. Piplup's really, really cute.
Cute.
I love a lot of Pokemon starters, but Piplup is probably my favorite.
One of my favorite Pokemon, and one of the only Pokemon I could ever even name, is Combee. I just think it looks stupid, so I love it. Who is your ace Pokemon, Cherries, whatever that means, by Poke Trainer Ed?
Tikaton. That would be my ace Pokemon.
Who would win in a fight between every legendary creature or every Pokemon by... I would have to assume, knowing maybe the bare bones minimum about Pokemon, every legendary creature.
See, no, I'm on
not close, right?
I think it's the opposite.
Why? I would say just one, because there's probably there's really 5 to 10, right? Of each that are going to hard carry. So, who are the Pokemon that are
you're just going to get, Arceus.
That's God, right?
Yeah, Giratina, who's, a space demon. You're going to get,
How big are these things, though? Because I'm thinking Eldrazi is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's fair. But, there's, I don't remember if it's Palkia or whatever. Whatever. The Palkia's counterpart. They're space and time. They control space and time. I mean...
That's... Teferi, though, controls time.
I know. It's
you know what? It's a wash, because I think, what was the quote from Stan Lee where they were like, whenever anyone asked me who would win in a fight, it's just asking, who's writing the comic?
Yeah.
Is it a Batman comic or a Spider-Man comic? Then Batman's going to win, or Spider-Man's going to win. Have you played or considered playing other TCGs? Thoughts on other TCGs we would like to share?
I don't really play any other TCGs. Magic, I think, is just the best TCG.
I don't think I've even ever considered it.
I played a little bit of Hearthstone a long time ago when I was just getting started in Magic. I have no other problems with other TCGs, but for me, every time a new one hits,
they just we're just I don't think so, and they blow past us, and we're like, oh, remember Keyforge? And we're just we didn't waver. We're we're not going to play Keyforge. Keyforge isn't going to exist in a year. Where'd it go?
It's and that's fine. I support everyone's wanting to explore and see if this new game is going to be
stuff for us is all.
Exactly. It's I'm not going to chase the new game. We'll want to stick eventually and maybe overtake Magic. It's possible, but I'm going to stick with Magic because I know I love and enjoy it.
Yes. How long have you guys been friends? Where did you meet? And where does Amber really go when she leaves halfway through a video? Brendan S. I will answer those in order. We have been friends for, I would say, probably about 8 or 9 or 10 years, something along those lines. We met in a local game store, Dark Forest Games. Shout outs to them, I guess. And where does Amber really go? She's probably pooping.
She usually, there's a 50-50 chance. Sometimes she goes right out the door. I open the door, she leaves, and the other time she just lays on the floor.
Yes, she lays on some of our soundproofing on the floor. Cats do love soundproofing foam. I can prove that. I have multiple cats laying on soundproof foam evidence now that cats love soundproofing foam. So she's either pooping, because she's either cuddling or pooping at any given moment, or she's laying somewhere else in the room. How are you guys doing? Like, really? How are y'all? Sir Stickbug42, let's get deep.
I mean, I'm doing mostly good in my life. I deal with a lot of anxiety and depression. I have a lot of mental health stuff. I'm improving my mental health every day, being a better person every day. That's where I'm at. I mean, my goal right now is just to work on my mental health and focus on being a better, positive force, especially for the MTG community, which I'm a huge part of.
I think I'm in the, get that bag mode of my life where I'm just like, you know what? It's time to, put my head down and, really crank up the work and just be whatever I can be, basically. And also, do have a significant other. Mia, love you.
Is YouTube your main job or is it a side gig? Dim. It's been our main thing. It's been our...
2 years now.
Yeah, it's been our main job for 2+ years, maybe a little longer, almost 3 now.
If you're looking for some reference, we've been full-time since 30,000 subscribers.
Yeah, so we've been doing it for a long time. This is our main gig.
What were your day jobs before going full-time by David?
I did a lot of stuff. My one right before was I worked as a daycare teacher's assistant. I've worked in a school for kids with autism. I've done lots and lots of stuff. I've worked at a car wash. I've worked at a
car dealership.
Car dealership, a 7-Eleven. I've done a lot of random miscellaneous nonsense.
I delivered pizzas for 5 years. That's it.
Yep, that was BZ's only other job. Who is your favorite Ben and why is it me? Ben Buzz 790.
We do know Ben Buzz in real life, and he is up there. Is he number one?
No, because Ben Stein is number one.
Ben Stein.
And for those who don't know, deep cut reference. Ben Stein. Do you know the show Win Ben Stein's Money?
Yes.
You actually do. Because I could not, when I tried to look up a GIF of Win Ben Stein's Money, it did not show up.
It's an old show. It's
a deep cut. So yeah. How many of our people in the comments know Win Ben Stein's Money?
All right, Ben, I'm going to go ahead and just say you're the best Ben. I cannot think of another Ben.
I just named Ben Stein.
Yeah, I can't think of a better one. Can BZ dunk, or at least touch the rim? He seems like a low-key hooper, Kismet. Now, I have not gone near a basketball rim in so long. Well, I guess it's a basketball hoop, right? But I think I could touch the rim. And honestly, I could probably do some kind of embarrassing dunk. But I think I could just jump, put the ball in, right? It would probably look awful. But I was assuming I could dunk.
So I'm going to say BZ has to be able to touch the rim. It's not because he's super athletic. He could jump.
Just because I could do this and touch the rim.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure BZ, 6'7", you add this is a couple feet.
Fun fact about me, though. Just while referencing my height, my wingspan is longer than my height. It's more length, which apparently is dangerous. So they thought I had some kind of condition. I don't, but yeah, my wingspan is even longer than I am tall.
Yeah, so BZ can, I think, he can at least touch the rim. I don't know about dunk, BZ.
I want to go yes.
I would say no.
1 million subscribers, I'll try to dunk.
I don't think BZ can dunk. That would honestly be my guess.
I just think I might be tall enough. I have to see. Once again, I have not gone on a basketball court, maybe ever.
Will you ever return to the tidbit about our lives again, William? So this is such an interesting one because recently I've been sharing a lot of my mental health struggles on Twitter. So if you want to go follow me on Twitter,
if you like mental health struggles,
at Cherries Joe. I also post my Pokemon stuff. I like to post fun stuff. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, I talk very openly about my mental health,
which is healthy.
Yes, I talk very, very openly. I would like to do it at the end of videos, but at the same time, this is also a career. This is a business that I'm running, and I do want my videos to do well. And ending the video sooner rather than having a long, drawn-out tidbit about our life.
Turns out it's way better for clicks.
Yes, it gets a lot of people to click on your video, get you more views, ultimately makes you more money. And this is a career/business. And even though a lot of it, the channel is us, and it is about us, you have to make some sacrifices at some point for the sake of business.
Yeah, I would stay tuned on the YouTube community tab or our Twitter. That's where you're going to get the most personal stuff if you're into that. And I got to say, in reference to that last thing you just said, Cherries, I think you should really watch this Nerd Girl Veggie Wagon cosplay episode of Decked Out because it's right. Is it over there? Or is it right here?
I don't know where it's going to be.
It's on one side of my hands.
It's going to be a weird video, so it's going to be edited slightly different than our normal one. So I don't know. Maybe right here. Let's just say right here.
You should watch it.
Watch it. We love them. Peace out, Tribe Scouts.